Look, you can set the agenda and then I'll share my screen. There is some addition things I have done. So if you want, I can share the latest presentation over here.
No, agenda onwards we can start. Otherwise, I'll share
Okay,
the day to.
then let me share the current PPT from my end.
Okay.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, are you want to start or I can hand over like from myself?
You can start.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, thanks all of you to join the session on Sunday onwards. I know there is a lot of hectic things you people have, but thanks once again and warm welcome to Goa Mule Meetup. So today our agenda is function monitoring with Mulesoft. Whenever we are talking about monitoring, it comes about like different KPIs, metrics, and then the different data. It could be a business driven, it could be system driven. But the function monitoring is one of this, which is a MuleSoft umbrella-driven provider. Like it's not like any legacy system or any latest modernization technology like Kibana or Splunk or RealK, which will be giving you. It's some more over that with the automation of a test suite like a white box and black box testing. So in a shorter note, in a nutshell, the white box, black box testing and automation could be a common thing with a behavioral aspect. So that's why Mules are given for this opportunity for all the vendors, like whoever have a base license, whoever have a platinum license, whoever have a titanium license, doesn't matter. It is available for each and every customer, and it also available for on-prem, hybrid, cloud of one, cloud of two, and runtime fabric and self-managed Kubernetes as well. So those are the different flavors I was just talking about. Then today's our agenda is definitely I gave a brief idea now what could be the introduction for the function monitoring, then what is function monitoring by definition and that capabilities built, then the importance of function monitoring with a technological aspect, techno-functional aspect, business aspect, and all multiple, let's say, different use cases as well. Then definitely each and every aspect has some limitation. Definitely function modeling should have. So we'll discuss over there, and then definitely the working model or demo to demonstrate how we can create, what is the use cases, what is the to do things, what is the tweaking factors we can take here. Definitely for this Goa meetup, I very much thankful to the organizer Gaurav Dubey, Vandana Gaurav, and the Gaurav Vimati. So all of three of you, great thanks from my end, and I'll be very much thanks from my Mule community team to all of three people to evangelize this meetup for a technological person. Then Vandana will more highlights for the safe harbor and statement, and then the housekeeping. Vandana, would you like to step back for these two slides from your end?
Yeah. Please be like that. Yeah, I'll check. Okay, the slide is a safe harbor statement. So here both the speakers and host are organizing this meetup. So it's an individual capacity only. So we are
Right.
not presenting our companies here, first thing.
Absolutely.
And second thing, this presentation is strictly for learning purpose only. So organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work on your business requirement. And third one is this presentation is not meant for any promotional activities.
Correct.
The next slide, please. The fewer housekeeping points are here. The recording of the meetup will be uploaded event page within 24 hours. I will do that. And second thing, questions can be submitted or asked at any time. So in the chat or question, or you can unmute also. So I'll give that access. And third one, share us feedback. So rate the meetup session by filling the feedback form at the end of the day. So we love feedbacks.
Yeah. Thanks, Vandana, for taking it up. Now, it's about myself. All of you know myself. I'm Brojeswar Roy. I'm Senior Technical Architect and Technical Manager of XML and Integration Practice. I have more than 12 years in enterprise application integration. I started my career with Informatica, then TIPCO, IBM Stack, Mulesoft, DevOps, RPA, and I also perform the digital transform service consulting and providing solution for the different business strategical firms and as well as that consulting firm as well. And alongside, I'm a capstone leader, blogger, and technology evangelist. Definitely, by my technology evangel tracks, I could try to help the people from the different level, from intern, college persons to CTO, CXO, and C-level people and business people as well to transform their business into digital success. So that's from my end. Now, all about the function monitoring, I already started like what is function monitoring and how it looks like. So, in it is a capability of cloud up platform or any one platform, rather say not a cloud up, it's an endpoint platform. So, I told you whenever we are clicking on the function monitoring, it's a part of a monitoring, which means it's an control plane and the management plane activities. It's not a runtime plane something, but the data which is coming from your runtime plane and it already governed by your API manager. Why? Because your function monitoring, whatever data is governed, whatever security is governed, definitely that could be catastrophic to your API manager. And simultaneously, definitely that catastrophic need to be go back to your design center and extend as well. Which means the function monitoring is a one point which is turning on from design center extends to your runtime manager, API manager, and then a visual to any of the users, end users. It could be a business end user or it could be a system end user. It could be two ways. So how we can create what is the function mapping, then go for the function. So in very few words, if I can say only one line for function monitoring, is nothing but utilizing function monitoring. It's an prospect or it's in capabilities of the MuleSoft product by which you can given a particular fact. What is the fact? We can measure the reliability, we can measure the particular quality of the particular API. What kind of quality? Whether that particular API measures all the prerequisite of a BRD requirement or your functional requirement. And reliability in terms of your security governance, in terms of your end user requirement, in terms of your API handshake. So those are the things you can create and you can rely and you can create one single page which is a monitoring that is called a function monitoring. But there is an option in MuleSoft terminology or integration terminology called BDD. What is a BDD format? BDD is nothing but behavior driven development in the full form, but how it very much effective for MuleSoft. Sometimes whenever creating APIs, it could be a real-time APIs, it could be a REST APIs, it could be a PubSub reliability pattern APIs, it could be a data gather related, which it means correlation or aggregation pattern, or it could be other things. So we need to understand what kind of behavior of the API is. Like it could be a bulk data loading. No, it's not a bulk data loading. Though it's a bulk data loading, but it's an daily one times or two times, which means it's a batch. So based on that behavioral, we can derive our equation, we can derive our needs, what could be a functionality needs for the business terminology. That's why it's a behavioral driven. Then what is the development? Development means whatever function monitoring script, it is based on the MuleSoft pseudo language, which is nothing but the data use. So it in the form of script, it is a data type script, and it is a particular behavioral is tagging or it is composing all the behavior inside that particular script. That's why function monitoring is purely form as a behavior driven development (BDD). Any question till now? What is BDD? How we call BDD? And whenever we are explaining to any customer what is the definition from BDD to traditional development or traditional monitoring. Any question, any understanding gap? Fine. Now, how we can create the function monitoring? There is two aspects. We have two capabilities. One capability called back CLI, which is nothing but pure form script related. You have to create your embedded Windows system or Linux system. If you have a Windows, you have to make it a Ubuntu, have the WSL enablement. You have to uh, install the back CLI, create the configuration. And another option is very much easy, just like MuleSoft giving the capability for all of us, which is an UI based. Now, the second part is whenever we are creating, because we already talk about so much about the function monitoring, how it works, what is the deliverable points, what is the detection point. So, in broader category, it has two parts. One is the testing category, one is the scheduling category. How we can categorize the testing, because the function modeling all driven upon your behavior. The behavior means you have to test the behavior whether that behavior is working fine or not. And then the schedule, how much you want to regulate, like what could be the regular frequency within a hour, within a minute, or within any custom fields, or daily or weekly or something, so on and so forth. So in that broader category, whenever we are creating a test part, it has four different parts. What is that? If it's a raised or soap part, definitely we should have some endpoints or resource with a relative method. So that is called an endpoint, which is a your deliberation for entry point of your application or API. But there is a gap how I can set an application or API, because sometimes we can create a monolith application instead of we are creating a traditional API led architecture, because customer need that. Let's say in a very classical example for insurance business, whenever I'm generating a quotation, that quotation could be driven by the employee's need or customer needs. Let's say over the geographical location. Let's say in US, in different states, there are different rate cards. There are like their jurisdiction rate, their inflation rate, their categorical rate, then their whatever called traditional rate cut for their offerings. Let's say for a particular employee, one state they're earning $20, another state they are earning $30. So those are the different factors. So whenever we are converting all these things into particular quotation things, it would be not a very good idea to create experience API process API system, but instead of a common application for quotation, which will be talked to and which will be hidden to behind your proxy layer or behind your whatever dedicated load balancer or any kind of load balancer or reverse proxy, anything you can say. And that common application can take care. So in that particular example, you can have an application, not an API. That also be driven through a function monitoring, how your functional test case could be driven. And other APIs, definitely whatever we are generally designing and developing for day-to-day basis. Then the asserts, all we know, because in mule world, we all know M units and chain units. There also we have asserts in condition. Similarly, here we have asserts in condition. What could be the typical asserts in condition could be? It could be your status code related. It could be your body related. It could be your, let's say, functional need basis, and it could be header based. It could be your template based, or it could be a custom. So those are the assets in condition you have. Then the predefined headers is there. These headers is very much important for your content type, for your media type, for your application endorsement, then security endorsement, and definitely your validation of the application, which is a security governance. Then the reporters, how you can create a reporter. Reporters here, the main terminal of the reporters means the UI here, nothing but UI. So in UI, you have a reporters, and that reporters will be goes back to by any channel. What could be the channel? It could be a pager duty, it could be any email, it could be any other things by which the reporters could be transmitted the whatever the error happened or whatever the report happens to you. That the communication channel. So reporters can get an idea about the particular APIs or sets of APIs about that application. Any question about that? How the test driven is linked or tightly coupled with function monitoring? Okay, I'm taking as no. Then the schedule. Here, whenever we are creating a functional monitoring, it has two different parts. One is the location, one is the interface. Location means in our traditional cloud hub, we have might be you have a hybrid application. You have cloud hub one, you have cloud hub two, or you have a RDF. So it has two kind of APIs. One is a public APIs, one is a private APIs. Private APIs means if you have a VPC, whether it's a non-production or production VPC, it's definitely the APIs which is behind your load balancer, behind your VPC or inside your VPC. Definitely that is an public. That is not an public API. Those are the private APIs. and those location will be inside your VPCs. Another will be public APIs, which is let's say US East 1, US West 2, US East 2. So those are the different region where the public APIs will be driven, where the catastrophic things and that kind of restriction is not there. Though the API 1 to API 2, API 3, and API N is a catastrophic related, and the public and private APIs is related, but still couple of APIs in private, couple of APIs in public. So it depends on the location you can create a function on. Another part might be in a hybrid mode, what application is deployed into cloud on your on-prem application, you still need to manage your application by creating a custom location. So that custom location also given place where you can deploy your application and you can take action for those application or for those API into function monitoring. So those are the different pointer of application location or API location whenever you are creating function monitoring. This is a very important point. Whenever I'll go for the demo, I'll show you the location. But this is a very important point because depends on your networking team. Sometimes the system driven, let's say you have a database which is hosted into your on-prem. If you have a SFTP, which is hosted over your on-prem, and you have some SAN drive or NAS drive, might be which is some cloud native service, not a on-prem. So those particular application, you definitely need to manage over some of the application managed by your private network, which is a purely private API. Sometimes will be hybrid. You can and you have to create a custom location. So if this kind of requirement will be in your play for your customer for any kind of proof of concept, you have to create three different locations: one for private, one for public, and one for custom. Then the interval. Interval is very simple. How frequent your application monitoring or function monitoring need to be run. By default, we are generally setting up a 15 minutes. Before, like below that value, monitoring platform will not given any chance to degrade the value like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. These are minimal values of 15 minutes, but you can still increase the value like 30 minutes, 1 hour, and so on and so forth. Any question as of now? Okay. Now, if you see this particular screen, though this screen will come later and I explain, but whenever we are creating a function and monitoring, it will look like something that. And it has different pointers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll explain one by one. This first one is the test execution, means this test execution duration, how long it will take. So you have to be very much cautious here. Let's say in test duration in 4 seconds. Sometimes it may take, if you are creating a function monitoring for a 30 APIs or 50 APIs or 70 APIs for a single function monitoring, it may take 30 seconds, it may take 40 seconds, it may take 45 seconds. But sometimes there is an option because these, whenever you're creating function monitoring in your runtime manager of that particular environment, whether production or non-production, it will create a runtime instance which will be triggering and sending the heartbeat from your application to that monitor. So that is also backend in one API, which is working as a heartbeat handshaking between your application to your function monitor. So that API itself has a particular timeout. If that timeout is more than 30 seconds or 40 seconds, depends on behavioral discussion. If you find out that kind of enough details, it could give you a timeout. So at that time, you have to understand what is your exact system. Let's say your database, whenever you're calling your database to create a connection as a health check, it is taking too much time. It's taking 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 50 seconds. Except if it's not responding, at that time it's down. Your function marking at that time will fail. So it is very much important point for a test duration whenever you have a mixed kind of system and mixed kind of functional need. Then that average response time. If you have multiple run like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs, you have an average response time, how much it's taking, and based on that, you can give a key factors to your business team. Hey, this is the average response time for health check. This is the average response time for particular functional or test behavioral driven aspect. So if you want to check, you can have a look. But if you're okay with that, you can go with that. Then definitely for whoever the support team for the function monitoring production team support or infra support, they can have a look, or who have a suggested like a pager duty or such kind of on-call support, they can have a look. Okay, still I have some time. What could be the next one? he or she cannot all time see the screen and wait for the next time. So you can it's a immediate notification for them. Then this is the last execution or latest execution. What is the result? Whether it's all or fail, all or success, partial fail versus success, every details, individual insights you can get from here. Then the last execution, how it will work, like what is the time frame, what is the duration, and what is the status in a single map you can get from here. And finally, here six is a schedule. If you want to add schedule, another further schedule you want to add on based on your function notification or business notification, you can add. That's up to you. But this is not at all needed whenever you have already created, which means you already know these factors, what are the values and all these things. So I'm taking a pause over here. Any question? Anything?
Brojesh, Suman here. I
Yeah,
have a question.
yeah,
You spoke about that there's an application that gets deployed behind the scene. Can you please repeat that part and
yeah.
how that would impact the vCore consumption of people of customers who are there on the older pricing model or the vCore based pricing model?
Understood. Yeah, it's a very good question. So whenever we are creating a function monitoring, whatever, if you have a one application for function monitoring and inside that function monitoring or 100 application, doesn't matter, it will consume zero point 0.2 cores of one application, which is running into your endpoint runtime manager. That's for sure. So point two cores always in the backend it's running. It's kind of application which is taking data just like in any EMS server or in TIPCO, the heartbeat is sending just like a fault tolerance. So here also that application is taking the heartbeat from your runtime manager other application and send to our function monitoring UI. And that application, whatever your traditional vCore model or now that flow-based model, still it is taking point 0.2 cores. That is the consideration point Mulesoft is suggesting. But there is a catch. If you if you have a bare metal or if you have a self-managed Kubernetes, that code you can create a separate cluster and you can create a channel. Only that channel when it be triggered, that consumption will be there. Otherwise, it will be released for other application. But that only can be managed over self-managed Kubernetes or bare metal, not in Cloud of One or Cloud of Two.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Now, whenever we want to settle for the function monitoring or create the function monitoring, we need some credibility. First and foremost thing is the role-based access control or platform-level access control for that particular user, whoever want to create. Whether you want to create from individual account or service account, but that access control need to be there with the proper exchange administrator, your organization administrator, and platform admin. So those are the prerequisites as a role-based access control for creating function monitoring. Second thing is, whenever you are deploying any new application, that respective environment need to be selected. Unnecessarily, if you have a three environment, dev, SIT, and UAT, you should not create function monitoring for all these lower environment. Because I already told, zero point 0.2 cores will be created, means zero point 0.2 into 3, zero point 0.6 cores will be lost. So whatever your preferred environment for your logic particular non-production rather say, you have to very much cautious about that. If you want really, create about and later part you can delete. But definitely, whenever you have to make a dry run, one of the lower environment would be suggested before going for the production or before going to the actual production, let us say. Because behavioral aspect will be very much understandable, what is the technological thing, how the timeout thing, whatever the latency, sometimes the security aspect for the if some of the application will be your private application, public application and custom application. For those cases, it's very much needed. Then the health check endpoint. Sometimes we are not following the best practice. Though we are following best practices, but still only business endpoints will be there into RAML. No health check endpoints will be there. It is always suggested if you have to create a function monitoring, please create a health check endpoint for each and every API specification. Then fourth one is which is purely business driven. What is your need, whether health check is a need, or functionality like payload checking or response checking is need, or functionality wise other metadata like headers injection, header data, or any kind of content type, media type, all these things will be needed. That need to be predefined before creating your function bundle, because based on that you have to create. If you want to one, you have to create again, if you have to monitor, then the legacy application, whatever already running for that function writing, it might be hampered. You're disrupted based on your whatever behavioral aspect. So that is the NFR, kind of NFR. You have to very much cautious about that. Then one part is creation of the function market. I already told it has two flavors. One could be back requisite command line using a CLI. One is a UI. So whatever you want, you can choose. These are the primarily like prerequisite for the basic function market. Advanced, there are a lot more things, but definitely whenever you can eventualize that particular topics, you can understand. Any question? Now, the importance of the function model, because whenever if you want for function model, definitely you are working for customer one, customer two, customer three, or inside your sales or for your organization, you have to make them understand what is the need of the function model, because at any cost it will be creating 0.2 cores of consumption of your memory, which is a huge for nowadays, right? So you have to very much cautious about that to convey the right message to the application owner or the business team. What is the need of that? So I already told you, if you have that kind of requirement, public APIs, private APIs, and custom APIs, definitely it can create all of them. Even one type application also you can create the functionality, which will be one single umbrella for your monitoring. That's the first and foremost. Second thing is you can change your execution state. Let's say if you want to create a system health check APIs, which will be creating for all the system. Let's say one health check, it has 20 endpoints, one endpoint for DB, one endpoint for SFTP, one endpoint for Salesforce Commerce Cloud, one endpoint for your Salesforce CRM, one endpoint for SAP, which means one system API you have created as a health check for your enterprise, and that health check you can predict and you can represent into your functionality. That is completely system driven. And another one is a business driven. You know, if I have a data issue, something will be there. If I have a data means there are different kind of data definitely. One is, let's say if you have a banking customer, you have a fraudulent or not fraudulent payment application. Then the credit card, debit card, lot more application. So those function things you can create separate segment of your function monitoring. It depends on that any effort you can create. Only function monitoring provide that kind of assertion statement and give you a execution as a high level understanding for you whether that is working fine or not. Not exactly debug perspective, but on a broader note for a business user's perspective. Third one is a reliability, because it's already there for application network. Whatever the API-led architecture or it's a monolith application, doesn't matter. It's still into the application network. So still the reliability exists. Whatever API governance is already applied for your application network through the handshake. Whether client ID enforcement is here, whether Okta token is here, doesn't matter. It should be there. Now, the another two flavors I already told you, it suffices a black box testing and white box testing. How you can suffice the black box and white box on a same page. First, I'm coming for the black box testing. Whenever I'm creating a function monitoring for any API, let's say an API A, and that API A has a health check, and I'm hitting that, I'm just taking whether the status code equals to 200 or not. I'm just checking that, which means intermediately how the functionality work, I doesn't know. Even I should not know that. So that kind of functionality and black box things is providing. It only bother about the inputs and outputs. But on the other way, how white box? Because if we are checking the functionality driven payloads, attributes, headers, injection properties, alongside that your security properties. So both we can check, but depends on what is your need. If you want to choose for the function monitoring for white box, you can. If you black box, you can. So that's where the beauty of the function monitoring. And in a nutshell, it's very much helpful for business users, C-level users, developers, architects, and as well as your end users. If end users means whoever doesn't means whoever not integration users or MuleSoft user. Let's say you have a front end application, you have a back end application which is a .NET or mainframe, very old legacy. If you want to share the report to them, they also understand. Okay, these are the system and it's not working properly. These are the system is working properly last 1 month. So it's a very good for layman perspective as well by showing the result and snippet for a KPIs. Any question here or any queries? Okay. Now the limitation. So there is a definitely lot of limitation. If you want to deep dive into for a particular issue, you are saying, okay, there is an error. But if I want to deep dive, I want to do a root cause analysis for that thing. I cannot do based on my function monitoring report because it's only giving an error. But why it's giving error is only showing 401 or 503 or 404. But what is the root cause exactly is not showing you. So that kind of deep dive you cannot do. So that's a limitation first. Then it's some kind of a static, like how it's static because whatever you are providing it's giving on it's working on that particular model, and that provision of the giving that things is very limitation. Just like in API governance, you have lot of rules to provide the governance in. Here also Mules are already thinking about that to merge this function monitoring with some of the capabilities of the governance, which means it will open a window for the some kind of dynamicity, not entirely, but some kind of. But as of now, as of today, it's some kind of static rules. Cost and resource intervention. Here, whatever Shuman asked, like before sometimes back, like it's already consumption of a point, how many cores? I told him it's a point 2 core. If you have a point 2 core, and let's say it's not a very large enterprise, only 20 or 30 applications is there, and they bought 2 cross 2 production code or 4 cross 4 production code. For such kind of enterprise or such kind of customer, if I proposing functional monitoring, which suffice their purpose definitely, but for them, point 2 code is a huge because buying additional code for a medium size or mid size customer is a huge. So they are not willing to waste their point 2 code. Rather, they will, okay, I'll create a visualizer code, I'll create a custom dashboard to get all this data. But for that particular customer, functional monitoring will not be a very good option. Then the lack of predictive analysis. Nowadays, just like Gen AI and predictive analysis, it doesn't give that predictive analysis, which Copilot of Einstein is providing. All our Epics APIs, whatever is there, bulk APIs in Salesforce. Copilot, if I install the Copilot, deep dive into the Einstein application, it at least provides some of the same kind of result with the functional monitoring aspect, but it gives some of the predictive analysis. Like, okay, last 1 month it's happened. If this CPU consumption something like that, another 5 days or 10 days, it may be a possibility there could be error. This is a timeout issue for the database application for last 10 months is only 2 times. But if timeline is more than 30 seconds or 28 seconds, there could be possibilities. Please have a look. So that kind of predictive analysis is giving into Copilot. But here we are not getting that kind of thing. It's not so smart. But definitely, I'm pretty much sure Microsoft is thinking about that. But I don't have any idea as of now how they're thinking and what could be their roadmap. But definitely, I believe they're thinking on that. And another, the most important point is it's not any external plug and play perspective. Just like in logging framework, we have a Splunk, Kibana, New Relic, or any other ELK based. But here only on a endpoint platform based. It cannot be managed by external any tool, or it cannot be data feeded to an external system for your own business KPI creation. It cannot. So those are the limitations for the function monitoring. Now, next step is definitely all we talk about how it thinks, what is the different perspective, but how we can create the function model. Here are a couple of snippets I have put with the steps like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Definitely, I'll go for that, but for just presentation perspective, to give a high level overview, I'll keep a some snippet. I'll go for the demo. Any question before that? Anyone have any question? No. Perfect. Let me go back to the function. Okay. Let me documents. So whenever we want to create a function monitoring, we need to first come over the event platform over here. And in event platform, in the left hand side, we have a capabilities for function monitoring. If we click on that, definitely we should have an option like create monitor. And we should, I have already created test meetup demo. I'll go for that, but how it looks like if I click on the create particular monitor, there is a monitor name. What is the name you want to provide? Then this is the option what I'm talking about, the select location. If you click on the I button, it's clearly define all the things. Like you can create a private location to run test, even the cloud up location, even a custom location. What is the option is giving for me? See, it's an sorry. It's a public location US is to 1 and 2 and private location if I want to create something. For timing, it's giving me two different options because I don't have any hybrid things. If you say there is a hybrid option, there should be three options. So then the monitor runs. This is the different monitor capability, how the schedule you want to work. Now go back to your monitor. This is a very initial stage, whatever I have already created. So for that demo, if you want to run, initially it looks like that some. I'm going back to edit monitor. So there are three steps. First step is just select endpoint. So what is the endpoint here? My intention is for the creation of this particular function monitoring to run my health check endpoint and whether my application health is up and running. With every 15 minutes, I should check. If any anomalies, I should have a look and I should do a RCA check for that. So that's why I'm creating this particular function monitoring. So definitely I need a health check endpoint. So for the reason being, I have one experience API, one process API, and two system API. And this is that one experience, one place, and two system APIs I have created. And I'll represent these four APIs over there to give a function monitoring representation. For typing, I have only added one of the system APIs, which is a Salesforce system API. How I have added? Why I have added that method? Definitely, it's an health check means a gate. The endpoint particular endpoint name from here. Then the headers. If you select the header, there's a lot more option for you. Lot of options. So I have selected as the content type application section because this is only need for me. If you want more, you can add multiple things from here. Now I already told this is the reliability, which means it needs a governance and security aspect. For that, I need a custom header, and my custom header is a client ID and client secret. So that's why this client ID and client secret is not a traditional optional for your header. I need to select for the custom header, just like custom header. So I have selected custom header and selected client ID and client secret and put those values. These are the configuration part. Now the assertion part. What is the assertion condition for my status? The assertion condition will be my status code. That's why I have selected the status code. Here multiple option is there, status code, response body and response header and must equal. definite smart number because I am only checking the 200 as a status code. Then I'll add, just now I'll add, this is the only one option for one endpoint. Like that way, I need to add multiple endpoints. Well, I'll go back there. I'll, then what is the category? Whenever you, any anomalies, any selective things is there, you have to send a notification. That's why I told you the channel. So what is the different channel notified? It has a flag, it has a page activity, it has a New Relic login, it has a Sumo Logic extension, and it has an email. For timing, I have selected an email, mailing list, and then there is an option as a submit or save. Because I have already created, that's why the option is giving for a update monitor, and my job is done. Again, now go back to I have selected only one. Let's select for other. Add endpoint. So I'll add for another endpoint. It's starting with EXP APIs. I've done. I have added two things. I'm also because it's an all or HTTP endpoint, so I'm strictly omitting the validated SSL certificate. If you want to, there is an option. That's why the security governance is another one option to check your transport layer security through SSL. For time being, I have disabled that. So I have added that. So for timing, I have added two endpoints. So select and update monitor. Which I have added one experience and one system. It will take some time. It's already added, and that every 50 minutes run. But if you want to test immediately, there is an option, run option. If you want to click, select the USS location, run now, it will run that. See here it's a pending. I'm sharing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different points, right? So those are the pointers: the test duration, average response time, next run, last execution, then add schedule. All these. See, it's already passed, and it's taken only 9 seconds to complete the two endpoint for the affection condition. So these like this way you can add as many as possible for your public endpoint. But there is an option uh, if you want to. Let me go back to the edit monitor 1 second. I already told you it's also can be done through a any code based. Like if you want to run a bad CLI command, you can, and it's driven completely BDD driven. How it's a BDD driven? Just if I want to switch to code viewer, I'm getting a code over here. See, this is the basic particular data wave code which is providing to me based on my UI inputs, whatever I have given to function monitoring. This is a simple CLI or bad CLI command which are backbone by the data wave code. And each and every endpoint is a repeating state. See, this is the first endpoint, this is the second endpoint. If I want to add here, instead of doing from UI, I can add directly from here and update the script. Let me do it for you. This is change the endpoint. see here, see here, adding these two are yeah, and saving. Updating this person. Next update one. Again, if I go back to edit monitor, if you see, it's already added three. First, second, and third. This third I have not added from UI, but instead of that, I have added from my bad CLI using a BDD approach. So this is a BDD approach I have done. Again, let me go back to monitor and run just now. Yeah, it's fast. See, so like that way you can add. Let's say why it's very much important. Let's say you have for a particular enterprise there is a 50 APIs or 30 APIs or 100 API. From UI, you can generate only one time client ID and client secret. Only you have to change that this particular endpoint because these are the common things. From UI, it will take much more time rather than this uh, editing this particular script. So you can add over here and upload the script directly instead of one by one adding from the UI. It's lot more time saver perspective as a developer, architect, or whoever business users you want to be. So that's why they have given two aspects. But these particular script you can run from your WSL enablement and installing a bad CLI into your local desktop or MacBook, and then connecting to your control plane or runtime plane, whatever you have for a particular license, and run from local, and it will be enabled from there. That also you can do, but that's a very tedious job, and a lot more security aspect will be there to enable for the networking perspective. So that's why it's very much easy to make everything from the UI perspective. Any question?
Just one question. So,
Yeah.
function monitoring, we saw that you showed the channels for notification.
Mhm.
Uh, what about if I want to show the stakeholders the reports of of how this monitor has been behaving, say in the last quarter, which would clearly give you certain metrics?
Yeah, these metrics will be based on your whatever you have given. Let's say here, whatever the header related stuff or body related the status code here is the response body header. If that will be only required for them, you can provide the details. But mostly these reports will be needed by your technology person like CTO or let's say business owner, not like your stakeholder related different stakeholder. They will not understand this.
No, what I mean to say, this sometimes, from a integration team perspective,
Mhm.
you can come up and show that, okay, this API or this system has been, not functioning properly because the
Absolutely.
systems
Oh,
have been down, right?
yeah, got your point. Got your point. Yeah, definitely you can do. So that whatever things, if they have any DL, you can add the DL instead of individual email and send the report. Boss, this is happening for last or 2 or 3 days. You can extend that email or extend that notification to that particular team. Please have a look. You can do
That's
that.
that's this notification, but I'm checking if there is a way we can download a set of reports, a CSV or something like that. Would that be possible?
If you see the go to failed, like here, I have a past and failed record. Let's say failed. It's not showing failed. I have deleted something. I'll tell you. I have an email. Let me open that. Sure, just yep, this email. So if you want to see this email, this is such kind of notification is coming, and if you click on the details, you will get the details. This is the email, just like if one error happens. So I have generated one error, and if you see why it's giving error, it's showing the error too, the invalid client like that. It will give that kind of details, not very much insights.
Mhm. I see what you're saying. Okay.
If that is helpful, that's what I'm saying. This is a limitation of the function monitoring. Like you can do RCA, but certain limitation, not very much deep dive into that RCA.
Sure, got it. Um, Again, my intention was not just not the RCA part; it was only the statistics part of it.
Okay, got it. Got it. So status. Okay, you want to download that. That's what you were asking. Definitely, there is an option. I believe go to past. Let me check. This is the report I believe. Past. Let no, this is on the email event. There is no option to download the success report. I got to point like any CSV format or any JSON format you can forward to that
Right.
respective
Yeah.
one. Just
Exactly.
like just like Splunk or something monitoring we have.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't have here.
That's fine. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's all from my side. Any, if you have any question, anything you can ask.
Thanks, Brojeswar.
Yep. Okay, thank you all then. Vandana, if you want to say anything, last words, last
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Thank you, Brojeswar, for taking up this session, and it was very amazing session. Thank you so much for this,
Yep.
and thank you so much for attending, and thank you all for attending.
Yeah, thanks all once again.
Thank you, Manisha. Thank you, Murali. Yeah, thanks all. So I'll end up this session. So recorded session will be I'll reshare it before evening. That one. Thank you all.